drops, Burgle? Do you like my 3 drops? All right, 4-color oven. So oven references Witch's Oven plus Cauldron Familiar, or the cat combo. And then we have Gilded Goose plus Oko plus Wicked Wolf as the food package, and then sacrificing food and cats to the oven trigger Mayhem Devil. Then we've got some Korvold Fae-Cursed here at the top end to draw some cards when we sacrifice things. We got some Angrath Rampage and some Vraska Golgari Queen as a smidge of interaction in our deck. So this one's been very reasonable the times we played it in the past. I want to kick the tires on it again here. If this feels good again today, it's probably in the running for my Saturday deck. Thanks for the 30 months, Bull Snipe, for food. I played Blue-Red Alliance against Grixis recently. Lost the first game, never drawing a payoff. In the second game, I cast Alliance and my opponent conceded the whole match. I mean, Alliance is very hard for those decks to deal with, right? Like, there's don't have a way to interact with it. Yeah, see, it's fine. Not amazing, but fine. Saturday is the Arena MCQ for this quarter. If you top 16 it, you get to qualify for the next Mythic Championship. MCQ is the thing that I missed. I missed out on top 16 on tiebreakers last time because I'm incredibly unlucky. Probably lost in the subgets earlier, but I'm having a hard time sweeping the board with Blue-Black Tezzeret, considering Time Wipe or Kaya's Wrath. I think like getting a double white card in your splash is tough. You need to whisper me for a Mythgard code. I'm not sending them out in chat. Make sure your privacy features allow you to message anyone. I currently have 73 messages waiting for codes, so I'll be sending those out after I sign off today, so probably like 3 or 4 hours from now at least. What's the total up to right now? Christy sent out 250 codes last night to people on Twitter. People like free stuff and good games. It's weird. Weird. Strange. Very strange. I think I'm gonna trade here. Oh, they're just making it a 2-2. Okay. Well, we're definitely doing this. Oh, this is great. So I get to go Rampage, you sack a Planeswalker, which triggers this. And then I get to go Cauldron Familiar, sack the food, deal a damage here. Yeah, maybe Contegan. Is there any information somewhere about your streaming setup? No, I don't have a page for anything like that. None of the people that make my computer parts sponsor me, so I didn't take any effort to do that. What's the website for MTGO downtime information? Lol, you think there's a website? That's cute. Your totes adorbs. The 5-color Nib deck we played today was really bad. It'll be up on YouTube later if you want to see how bad. Roscoe, thanks for the 12 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. What was the last $70 card in Standard? It was probably during Con Standard, right? If I had to venture a guess. Of course Moto is pay to play. You have to pay $10 to make a real account, and then you have to buy all of your cards, and then you have to pay $10 to play meaningful matches. Fringe Prodigy. Yeah, VP. I said VP right? Did I say the wrong Jace? I meant Fringe Prodigy. During not Kaladesh, the Cons of Darkir. Alright, so we just Wicked Wolf the crap out of this one, right? Pioneer submissions are 25 at the moment. I had such a flood of Pioneer submissions that I can't take any more $10 ones. It's just going to take too long for them to get played. So I'm probably going to update the website to reflect that price difference momentarily. There was a lot of excitement around cheap Pioneer submissions, and I just can't take more in because I won't be able to keep up. I don't like to take deck submissions if people are going to have to wait a super long time to see them played. Perfect. So this comes into play. We sack the cat. All right, well, They usually don't even tweet when it comes back live. They didn't tweet when it went down. We'll start by attacking here. No, I'm just not accepting them at this point, Wilder. Because the format can just change too much. Also, hashtag capitalism. If I can keep the queue full at $25, I'll probably keep it full at $25. I made it cheap to start because I wasn't sure what the interest was going to be. Well, how much interest there was going to be in the format. I think I'm just gonna Rampage and kill this. We get to draw a card when we make a mana with Goose, which is great. Do whips and chains excite you, chat? They excite me, chat. Whips and chains excite me. Get 'em, got 'em good. Wicked Wolves and Noxious Grasp. Let's go. Vraska doesn't seem like she kills much against whatever our opponent's doing. I need a couple more trims here. Yes, and I missed no fire, no steel. Oh. Oh. It's been so long. As you can see from the boot next to my name, I do like it rough. Angrath Rampage seems like it's pretty well positioned right now. It's good against Oko. It cleans up ovens. If you can kill the rest of their board, you can use it to make them sacrifice a Wicked Wolf that's on its own. Sure. Sign me up. Once upon a time, there was a Wicked Wolf, since I already have all my colors. I think I'm actually going to lead on the Witch's Oven here, because there's a chance my opponent has Glass Casket on too, and I'd rather not get my cat exiled with Oven in hand. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, gain a life. Sure. Alright, Mayhem Devil's a great pickup. The Bloodthirsty Aerialist is going to get real big here real fast. So we're not going to bring this back yet because we want to wait till we have Mayhem Devil in play here. So I can kill both of these next turn, which is great. Sack this, sack the cat, sack the other food, deal 1, 2, 3. In Pioneer, you can play 8 Sire of Insanities. That sounds... Getting that card into play is probably too slow. Very, very likely too slow. Who's a good little kitty? Yes, you are. Can you elaborate how you'll be choosing between this deck and that deck? I'll be flipping a coin. I'll be going with whatever my gut tells me to play. There are not meaningful statistical ways to determine which is better or worse or why. Like a lot of people think that like there's these really precise things you do to figure these things out. They're not. You're just eyeballing it and guessing a lot of the time. I have a potentially vain hope that Treasure Cruise is going to be... Treasure Cruise and Dig could maybe be okay in that format. Maybe. Alright, so I'm going to sack this cat to the oven. Which does the damage here. And then I'm going to play this Overgrown Tomb out. I'm going to play this Wicked Wolf. I guess if they have like a Noxious Grasp here, I get in trouble. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, that gained them 1, 2. Brutal. Huh? Guess we're kind of in a bad spot if I don't find an answer to this area list. Yeah. Huh. I think we're dead, chat. A lot of lands will do that. So we get to play game 3 on the play. How you establish those gut feelings. The actual answer is that generally I establish those gut feelings by deciding what I feel like losing to and which decks I enjoy playing more. Magic the Gathering is very close to just rolling dice and gambling. So a lot of my close decisions I tend to make by just like how I feel. Which deck feels more fun when I play it? Which deck is less miserable when I lose? Yeah, I wasn't dead on board. I could have gotten the cap back to not be dead, but I can't win the game anymore. There weren't draws in my deck that like let me still play Magic. This hand needs a red source, obviously, but it can cast Noxious Grasp and Oko here, so sign me up. Yeah, I agree, Wantless. My hot take is that dig through time is probably fine. It would probably be fine in Modern. I think the fact that dig is banned is a misassessment. Oh dear. Here's another hot take. Dig's always been better than Treasure Cruise. People just didn't have enough time to figure it out.
Your expectations are exhausting.
Well, this is the first time playing this deck that I've had trouble with the mana. Which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Hey, Murford, thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. I'd be surprised if that's a card it wants to play, Psychonaut. Alright, if we draw a red source, we're like super far ahead. That's like the slowest red source in the world, but it's technically a red source. We're at a high enough life total that we might still be okay here. Probably dead now. They just like draw a brick for a turn. And like, this is the cost of playing this deck, right? This is probably the reason I won't play this. This is like the one of the Oko decks I've really enjoyed playing, but like, realistically speaking, it's just like, you're gonna lose your mana some amount of the time, and that sucks. This game really sucks sometimes. Looking forward to playing Mythgard here next. 0 resource variance is a blessing. Lost to black-white life gain. Probably crossing this off the list of decks we're playing Saturday. Vomit. I mean, that's how Magic works. Magic has an incredible amount of variance, and there's very large swings. You go from just fine to them drawing running good cards when you draw more spells you can't cast very frequently. That happens in a lot of your games. I've been testing Artifact combo with Emery, Aetherflux Reservoir, and Paradox Engine. Yay, Moxin. I don't know. Trump tweets so much you'd think he didn't have a job. I don't keep track of everything he tweets, so I don't know what you're referring to in this specific instance. Although one of the late night hosts put it best, it's probably a good thing that he's tweeting because he's like a really dumb criminal. And he like tweets everything, right? Ooh, that's a good draw. That'll be able to kill this next turn. Actually, so if I Oko, I can't guarantee Vraska next turn. Maybe I just Golden Egg. No, I need to Once Upon a Time, right? Yeah, I'm gonna Once here, actually. God, that's brutal. Hashtag never lucky. Well, the issue is I don't have an untapped land. So it's not that I used the food. Maybe I should have just played this. Maybe I should have just played this as my tapped land so I had another land after. Yeah, I'm playing everything in ranked, Captain Command. Having played the opponent's deck, their deck is like much worse without this card in play, so let's kill that. Can you explain to me, Ozar, why you think my deck has a problem with low to the ground decks? I am taking Mythgard submissions. They're priced the same as Arena, $10 for specific decks, $25 for build-arounds. Why so many mods? Because our channel's not a cesspool, and I also give all 12-month subs a mod sword. People who are telling you their Twitch channel's only a cesspool because they can't moderate it, they're lying. They could moderate it, they don't want to. I'm gonna make a note actually to put Mythgard on deck submission form. It's not there yet. The Gatherer still doesn't support Pioneer. That's peak. It's probably going to be months before it does. Hey, Decamos, thanks for the 5 months of support there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm going to crack this fetch and kill this Narcomoeba probably. 4 Oko, 4 Gilded Goose, 67 other cards. Are my options on the table for the MCQ at the moment. You fall behind on board. You mean you're referring to the game where I had 5 spells in my hand that I couldn't cast because I couldn't draw a red source? That's the game you want to cite as reference? There's 4 Grasp in my deck. There's Cat to block. There's Oko to generate board presence. There's Vraska to interact with the board presence. Like, don't get behind is the answer. Like, the only game you've watched where we got behind was the game where we couldn't cast any of our spells. If we can cast our spells, we're playing Magic. I always hate those. Those are the worst part about being a streamer. And we time a lot of them out here, so we don't get too many of them too often. The people that are like, what if we make a bunch of changes to your deck that would help you in this specific situation where you got incredibly unlucky? It's like, well, maybe we shouldn't make a bunch of changes to my deck to account for the situations that are statistically not going to happen very often. Make your decisions with math. How often would you be off color in your 4-color standard deck, though? The mathematics and my experience both say not often. And if you have some math to show otherwise, I'd appreciate seeing it. But Once Upon a Time, Fabled Passage, Gilded Goose, Golden Egg, all of these things make the mana base incredibly consistent. And then you have to ask yourself, it's not even, can someone time Seth out? I didn't mean to ban him, I meant to time him out. It's not even, you're asking the wrong question too, because it's not even just a matter of how often are you missing a color, it's how often are you missing a color, and how often do you also have spells of that color that you can't cast. The overlap of those two things has to happen. Down to 3. All right. What are we doing? I think we're playing this. Am I starting with this? Maybe I'm starting with this. So we're not dead on board, so that's nice. We could be dead to an attack, but we're not currently dead on board. We are dead to a 3rd bird or the 4th creeping chill, though. I think it's Devil, hold 2 mana during combat, block with Goose, oven it, eat the other. How do I eat the other food? I can't eat the other food if the thing dies. All right, no bird yet, right? No bird yet, no creeping chill. And they're kind of out of resources here. How do I don't have a food to make. Oh, you're saying sack it and then crack the food. Maybe that's better. Okay, yeah, I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, eating a food for health this turn would have been better. I agree. I think Elder Spell's a fine card, especially if you have Planeswalkers of your own. Yeah, they do still have 1 chill left. That's a pretty good draw. Because they're almost out of gas. So with a good... Do I actually even want to do that? I think it might actually be better to just Oko make a food. Because then I don't die to a random creeping chill getting milled, right? So I'm just gonna pass here. So I can gain 6 and shoot 2 things. Now I think plus wanting the bird is silly, because then I have to trade my thing for it. They drew the creeping chill. That's good for me. They need a 1 mana spell to get their Phoenix back here, and even if they get it back, they're still not, like, they're out of gas at this point, right? And me gaining a bunch of life means they can't do anything. So, like, they're gonna attack, I'm gonna gain 6, I'm gonna kill their bird. I actually haven't put this deck on my site yet, but I think I'm going to. I wasn't sure if it was good at first. It doesn't have a dedicated page. You can find it on the YouTube channel, and you can find it in the deck page on the website. The lines in this deck are a lot of fun. Man, Mayhem, oh, chat, oh, GG. I mean, like, we were probably favored to win at this point, but that one locks it up. All right, papi. Hail to the king, baby.
One bite, and all your cares are gone.
Are we done here? I think we're done here. Because even if they put all 4 Phoenixes into play here, they can't kill me. Which I think means we're done here. Wait, they're unsummoning my Mayhem Devil? Sure. They're an easy, quick craft system. I don't think they have a craft all missing button. Which I guess it's kind of hard to figure out how to do that in their game because they have both a dust style system and wild cards. So it's kind of a mix. Aether Gust seems good here. Disfigure seems good here. Wicked Wolf actually seems pretty slow and clunky. Vraska doesn't really... Oh, she kills the enchantment. Vraska seems great. Vraska's the reason we won that game. She killed the enchantment. Angrath Rampage is real bad. What do we think of this? I don't think I want Negate here. Think I'm okay with this. Do my kids play Magic? Not quite yet. We're still learning numbers and letters. My oldest is only 5. This card goes a long way towards making the mana in this deck very good. That being said, our mana this game's a little medium because we missed here, huh? Was hoping to find a black or a blue source here. I don't have any double green cards in my deck at the moment, so maybe I just take this mountain. I think I'm going to do this and fetch black because I want to prioritize these 2 over this for now. Whatever you need to tell yourself, Illustrate Nerd. Yeah, someone was asking about Elk plus Cauldron Familiar interaction. It interacts favorably for us. So when the Cauldron Familiar dies, it goes back to being a cat. Never didn't have it. Get in the oven, kitty. Meow. Just found out yesterday that we're having a girl. Good luck, Stormy Waters. Congrats. Have we hit peak Oko meta with this deck? Broko? Yeah, I mean, like, everything's better with Oko, chat. Everything's better with Oko. And actually, I think the play here is actually Mayhem Devil. I think I'd rather get this down first. Like, racing this deck that our opponent's playing is pretty important. I think Mayhem Devil races faster. Sure, we have Vraska for that next turn. Yep. Let's loop the cat here. Yeah, the arena update's supposed to be at 8 a.m. PT tomorrow. Determining if Oko is right for this deck. If green or blue, splash Oko. If not, change decks. Is basically the format we're living in. Yeah. Well, I mean, the actual answer, Dude Light, is he doesn't have that much money. That's part of the reason why he's not sharing his tax returns. All right, do they have 1 mana spell to bring these back? They do not, and they're dead. Even if they had a 1 mana spell to bring those back, they're still in a pretty bad spot with Cat, Oven, Devil, and then like Oko coming down next turn. Or possibly the king coming down next turn. All right, deck. I'm no longer mad at you. You made up for the fact that we didn't have any red mana in the first match. I love you, 4-color oven deck. I'm sorry I was upset with you. All right. You see Cat Oven being tier 1? Probably not. Maybe with Oko. I don't know. It probably struggles against these Wicked Wolf decks a little bit too much. I don't know, Wargy Corgi. The other deck I'm considering I've only played 1 time, so like I don't really know what to think about it necessarily. Wonder if my opponent's deck with black and white mana casts Oko. Seems like an interesting idea. How do you cast Oko in your deck, opponent? I don't understand. Yeah, I agree, Raiden. I agree with that assessment for what it's worth. All right, so what am I doing here? I think I'm just like playing a land, playing this, making a food.
Surely you must be famished.
Maybe I'm supposed to wait to play this till next turn. It's very possible if they kill this turn, I feel bad. This is when one of their things dies, they drain. What if I try and trade them for the Cruel Celebrant?
What's mine is yours, and yours is mine.
You sacrifice a creature. Do whips and chains get you excited, chat? They get me excited. I have all my colors. It just doesn't really matter, right? I guess maybe I should get my... I have more red, though, too. If I didn't have Korvold, what could replace it? Probably the 4th Wicked Wolf. You go 4th Wicked Wolf, 4th Vraska. Now we're a 5-color Oven deck? Yeah, basically. Hey, look! They played Nelk, chat.
Let's broaden your existence.
You will sometimes sacrifice.
Man, this little guy on a motorbike, he just does all the things, chat. This deck generates turns of magic. This deck certainly generates turns of magic.
Surely you see the humor here.
Alright, well, they played just mono white creatures that game, right? So, like, Noxious Grasp sounds absurd. Incidentally, having Noxious Grasp be good against your deck seems real awkward. I think I'm going to trim this. Do I bring in some Veils in this matchup if I'm expecting them to have good removal too? Wicked Wolf seems potentially good. Maybe Vraska's a little bit medium, because they could go wide to attack her. Hey, Marija, thanks for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, is that too much removal, though? 200, okay. Thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome. Like, do I have room for Grasps and Disfigures? Yesterday, I played the RA deck Splash for Once Upon a Time. I played Golos, and they had double Absolution out, and I still drained them out. The deck is gas. That's sweet. Maybe I do want some Disfigure. If I'm bringing in a lot of cards that once doesn't hit, trimming one seems fine. 4 Okos, 32 removal spells. Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty confident I wanna register a bunch of Okos this weekend. Veil does kick Midnight Reaper off its adventure. That is how that works. That's a hand. This is much better. I think this 4-color oven deck is superior to the red-black oven decks. I think it's different. I think it's playing Oko, and Oko's great, so... I think not registering 4 Okos is probably a mistake in Standard. That's why they should have banned something around it. I think even if they banned something around it, it's still probably a mistake not to register 4 Okos. The red-black aristocrat decks and Aria decks, those are the ones that we've played here on stream. They tend to have a pretty hard time with decks playing sweepers, and Wicked Wolf is really good against them, so... all questions regarding deck submissions should be submitted through the form on my website. You'll get an email back. Usually get an email within a day or two. I'm gonna check most days. I've never in my life in paper drew all 4 of a card, and I've seen it a handful of times on Arena. Well, what that means is you haven't played enough paper Magic. So people are incredibly biased creatures, and they don't realize that how different sample sizes are. A lot of the people who you see quote things about statistics that happening on Arena but don't happen in paper. One, a lot of people don't shuffle correctly. That's very true. But another thing too that enough people don't consider, I don't think, is the fact that a lot of the time you're just playing so many more games digitally than you're playing in paper. Like, on Arena, the things that happen in paper are happening proportionally the same amount. You're just seeing a higher number of them on Arena because you're playing a higher number of games on Arena. The proportions are identical. You're just playing more games, so the raw number is higher. And as humans, we intrinsically remember the things that feel bad more than the things that feel good or average. Shuffler true thing is like flat earth thing. That's definitely agree. Or they're good at shuffling, fair. Most people take their losses harder than their wins. That was the point of what I was just talking about. Literally the conversation I just had. I think this deck is probably objectively the most powerful version of the Oven decks from a card quality angle. Yeah, I agree. I agree with your assessment, Raiden Project. I think from raw power level in terms of cards, this deck is definitely higher than some of the other decks out there.
Welcome to the feast.
Has it been relevant yet that you can sacrifice an arbitrary number of food tokens in full control while bringing back the cat? No, I don't think that's ever been relevant. We've played a lot of that. Speaking of powerful cards, my opponent has chosen to register Imperialist Oligarch. And we've chosen to register Oko, Vraska, and Wicked Wolf, so little bit of a differential in card quality occurring on board right now. I like this build a lot, but I might cut red if I build this. Well, I'm going to time you out because you didn't tell me why you'd cut the red. So don't tell me I'm wrong without telling me why I'm wrong. Please and thank you. Start by attacking with these. They're allergic to mountain. Yep. I agree that cutting the red splash is bad. I'm just a noob here to learn. The best way you can learn, the best way you actually engage with things is by thinking critically. So when I ask people for their opinions on things, I don't always expect them to have a correct answer, but I am expecting them to think critically about it and try and provide one, because by asking them to think critically, they become better Magic players. We're big on teaching to fish here. What if I'm allergic to fish? Well, then you can wear gloves. Another thing that's not welcome here is don't generically insult my opponents or their deck choices. A lot of my opponents often come back and rewatch their matches with us. If you want to give constructive and specific feedback, for example, when I critiqued my opponent's deck just now, you heard me talk about how their deck's individual power level of their cards was low. That's a constructive and specific critique that's actionable. If you're not giving actionable feedback, you're just being rude, and that's not welcome here. Non-sub just flush with shillings. I made some substitution on cards I don't have, Vraska and Korvold to a Garrick. I don't know that you have enough. I don't know that we have enough blue lands to consistently play main deck Mystic Dispute would be my worry. Awkward. Looking for a cat. Looking for a cat. Trail of Breadcrumbs has felt kind of clunky in my experience. It's just like not worthwhile. A lot of the oven decks I've played, like this is the first base green oven deck I've played, and I feel like this deck has enough ways to generate card advantage that it doesn't need a card like that. Yeah, we've played Sultai oven decks before, and they felt really underwhelming. Not having Mayhem Devil is a big deal. I'm gonna play Watery Grave tapped here, because this way if I draw an Oko next turn, I can cast it without shocking. Is there any reason we don't wait to cast Once Upon a Time to right before you play your first spell? Yeah, because that Once Upon a Time could have gotten me a cat. And if it got me a cat, I would have cast the cat. So I didn't wait for when I could cast a spell, because I was looking for a spell to cast. This is our mono red Stumble and Die game is accurate. Some Disfigure, some Aether Gust, a Wicked Wolf. Korvold is slow. Angrath Rampage is probably pretty mediocre. Yeah, we were banking on that once in that last hand to like find us a cat or a goose, and it did not. Then we died pretty brutally. The Golden Egg is not just about a little bit of synergy with these cards. It synergizes with this. It sacrifices to trigger Mayhem Devil, and it just fixes our mana. Our deck is 4 colors, so like these 2 cards and Gilded Goose are the reasons why the mana is very consistent. They are also a little bit filler, so I do trim them during sideboarding sometimes like this, but they are very reasonable Magic the Gathering cards that have a lot of small synergies with the cards that we're playing. Yeah, individually the card's kind of bad, but when you like look at it as a sum of the parts, it's pretty reasonable. This would love to find us a goose or a cat. Would also settle for a land though. Hey, thanks for being here, Grumpy Heart. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Punished for not playing green on 1. I've been going to high schools in Minneapolis lately, training to be a chemistry teacher. I wanted to celebrate because I'm definitely doing the right thing with my life. Hey, I'm glad you're having a good time. All right, so man, playing that Steam Vents on 1 really tripped us up here, huh? I guess I could sack the egg to not shock here, but that seems bad. I think I want a Goose plus Cat this turn. I think I want to just Goose plus Cat. Yeah, if I would have played Overgrown Tomb on one, I played the Steam Vents on one because I wanted to play the land that I was taking off of there so I could reveal it. You know what also might have been right? I think I bought him some basics. It might have been right to take a basic land just so I had more lands that didn't hurt me. Could see that being correct. I have double black. I might need double red next turn. So I'll grab that so I don't have to shock. No, I just missed it. I was overthinking. I was thinking about my turn that I was gonna have the following turn. And I just overthought myself and didn't block. So I should be 1 point higher. Hey, Wilder Neck. Oh my gosh. I should be 3 points higher. Oh, they didn't. Okay, sweet. Well, I meant to do this before they got to combat. But then they didn't attack with their thing, so God bless. Tameo has a shot of pulling us back into a game that, well, if the game is slipping away, Ian, how are we going to have cards for Tameo to be getting back? Would be my question. Like, Tameo's not a card that generates board presence. So, like, Korvold's a card that draws us card, but also generates an incredible amount of board presence. Hey, thanks for the 16 months, Magic Sausage Cat. Couldn't Goose sack food to make food for an extra point of damage? No, both of those are tap abilities on the Goose, so you can't do both. Watching you and learning from you to individually assess and evaluate cards and plays definitely helped me as a player. My play group at LGS noticed I've grown, and I've topped many tournaments from applying what I've learned on this channel. Good to hear it, Hart. Stream Decker is still broken. It's broken on Twitch's end, so the person who makes Stream Decker can't fix it. They're just waiting on Twitch to get their act together. I think I'm happy with how we boarded. When is Mythgard? I'm probably going to play 1 or maybe 2 more matches after this. I don't have to be done right at 2 o'clock today, because Christy's around to get Jake off the bus again, so I'm probably going to run late. I'm definitely going to run late. We're going to do at least 2 hours of Mythgard. So I know my schedule had Mythgard starting at noon today, but I've let a couple of these decks run long because I knew I didn't have to be done at a certain time today. Nice, Raiden. Good to have you around. There is no fear in this dojo, chat. All right, they have a shock. Maybe there's a little bit of fear. There's a little bit of fear because they definitely have a shock. There's a little bit of fear because they definitely have a shock. Don't do it. Don't end the goose. Do they have Bone Crusher on top of shock? There's like we have shock and Bone Crusher. Please just play Steamkin. Please just play Steamkin. Ba-beep. Bye, friend. Probably 1 or 2 more matches after this. They did have the shock. They got greedy. Wonder if they can kill both of these. His keep was definitely greedy. Wow, they have Reckless Airstrike too. I can't believe they didn't kill the goose on 1. It's good for us. Just any lands, please. Black land would be ideal, but any land will do in a pinch. Spitfire, sure. Sure. Well, if we find a black source, our hand's pretty good. They're flooding a little bit. We want to wait till the last possible damage to gust this, because if they have a shock, they might shock our face to trigger the Phoenix, which would be good for us. You think they have a burn spell and they're debating getting in damage with it here, which would be good. We want them to shock us. I'm gusting this regardless. Screw beats flood, says increasingly nervous man drawing his 6th non-land spell. Well, I mean, if we find the black source, we're good to go, right? This deck plays 24 lands and 3 Once Upon a Time, which not having the 4th Once Upon a Time is probably a mistake. I just didn't have a cut for it. I'm gonna be an adult and figure out something to cut for the 4th one. Even another non-black land gets us Oko, which is like pretty good, right? Alright. The window for doing a thing here is closing very quickly. Yeah, the Korvolds might be too cute. Those might be a card that belongs on the sideboard, if at all. You think we could talk him into switching to poker? They have a red spell? Holy shit. Are you kidding me? Wow. I can't believe they didn't shock me in response there. I'd have thought for sure they would have pushed damage there. Yeah, it's too late. That's fine. I don't know. We ran pretty exceptional. I kept a medium hand to that last one, and we ran like really exceptionally bad the first match that we lost. I don't know. There should probably be a 4th Once Upon a Time that helps with the mana a little bit. Angrath Rampage felt really good. I talked about this card. I think this card is just like super reasonable in the format in general right now. And I don't know. And I feel like this is a collection of pretty reasonable cards. I'm also pretty biased though, because like I like playing sweet decks like this, so I should probably play something that's like a little bit more powerful and more consistent. If I wanted to be more consistent, I could just get rid of these for now and like play a Once Upon a Time and like another egg here, or like instead of the egg, just put the fourth Wicked Wolf in the main deck. I think Wicked Wolf's a little bit medium in the, it's a little bit medium in like the blue-green fear the blue-green food matches, but I've got a number of other cards that like hedge that just fine. I actually don't think the red-black deck's more powerful, dude. Light. The red-black deck, I'm taking the red-black deck and the Once Upon a Aria deck off of the decks I'm considering, because I don't think they're good enough. I think those are decks that, like, the individual power level of the cards they're playing are not good enough. I think this interaction is very good, but the other cards you surround those decks with are just not good enough. Like, Goose, Oko, Wicked Wolf is just, it's much better than all those other things those decks are doing. Could you have waited on the Disfigure until after you put the cat in the bin? I wouldn't have been putting the cat in the bin because I had 7 cards in my hand, so that doesn't make any sense. I played a land for the turn. I think for the MCQ, I'm down to either this deck. Sure, either this deck or working on this blue-green self-mill deck a little bit more. I think this could be reasonable. Korvold would be a card for the grindy matchups. He draws cards, so you'd want him against decks like Esper. But it's also possible that, like, with all the Planeswalkers, that you just don't need that. Yeah, I think, like, a couple of people have talked about, like, well, why do you need 4 colors? And, like, if you look at this deck and you look at, like, what it's doing, this is a base 2-color deck with 2 splashes in it. So my opinion on Vantress Gargoyle, that card doesn't appear to be particularly playable. If you have a reason to think otherwise, I'd love to hear it. It doesn't seem good at the surface. Like, we've got a bunch of black cards, we got a bunch of green cards, and we're on, like, the double splash for just powerful things. Is basically what this deck is doing. Because, like, both Mayhem Devil and Angrath Rampage are just, like, reasonable cards that synergize with everything else we have going on. Yeah, and the splashes are both big power level increases. Like, Oko is Broko, and Mayhem Devil is just, like, excellent with all the other things this deck is playing. And again, I think part of the issue was, like, cut a Once Upon a Time today. And then, like, between Once, Golden Egg, Gilded Goose, and Fabled Passage, like, the double splash is, like, pretty reasonable. No Stormfist is a big minus. I disagree with you completely. I think the Stormfist Crusader has to go into more aggressive decks, and I think the more aggressive decks in this format always lose to the good draws out of these decks. I don't think the aggro decks can ever beat good draws out of these food decks when they're on the draw. And I think a deck like this that's capable of getting a little bit bigger and grinding a little bit better can keep up with what those other things are doing a little bit more reasonably. So I gotta narrow down choices eventually, and I think I'm writing this one and these oven decks off my list. So I think my choices for tomorrow, my choices for the event are gonna be either 4-color oven or self-mill. I think I'm doing 3 decks, 3 standard decks tomorrow and Friday, so I'll probably do 4-color oven and self-mill both tomorrow, and then if we have a favorite after that, I'll play that one again on Friday. So I'll put a little bit of a hold on the deck queue, some of the decks in the deck queue while we play through things that I like. DeCandio is playing Paradise Shirt in a 4-color deck. Do you think there's any merit to playing that over egg? I don't, actually. I like that the egg synergizes with Mayhem Devil and Wicked Wolf. I also like that I also don't need to accelerate that much. So, like, this is the top of my curve, so, like, having extra mana creatures isn't very good. And this is a better top deck late game. This is a better top deck late game than Paradise Shirt is, because it draws another card. This deck was fine. It's just not, it's not reasonable. It's fine, but not reasonable. It's not something that I would consider playing in the tournament. I don't think it's consistently powerful enough. I think it's not good enough against the Hydrate Crisis Nissa decks. That was just a random deck submission deck. So not all of the decks we played today were decks I was considering for the tournament. I actually wasn't even considering this deck at all. It seemed kind of medium. And then we played it. When we played matches with it, this deck was awesome. It's definitely going to be the standard deck of the day. All right. At any rate, we are going to go ahead and wrap up today with some Mythgard.